Good morning, children. Today we'll start with Othello, Act 2, Scene 1. In fact, we'll continue with Act 2, Scene 1. Now, yesterday, what have you been taught? You have been taught that Desdemona and the entire team, they have been brought safely to the land after the shipwreck, where the tempest in the sea had rise very higher. So Desdemona was, what did Iago notices? Iago had noticed that Cassio is holding Desdemona's hands. So he prepares a plot against he prepares a plot to break the marriage against Othello and Desdemona. Now we'll continue with the same act. At this time, Othello arrives to an unspeakable joy of Desdemona and others. Iago reveals in the idea that would work for the ruination of Othello and Desdemona. So what happens at this time? Othello is very happy to get married with Desdemona, and he arrived with an unspeakable joy of Desdemona and others. Now he was very happy to see his wife. Iago reveals in the idea that would work for the ruination of Othello and Desdemona. Now what happens? Iago, he reveals an idea that would work to ruin the marriage between Othello and Desdemona, because Iago was himself in love with Desdemona and he did not wanted Othello and Desdemona to remain in their wedlock. Othello proceeds to the castle with Desdemona and bids Iago bring in the captain. Now what happens? Othello, he takes his wife Desdemona to the castle and tells Iago to bring the captain inside his chamber. When Iago and Rodrigo are left alone, the former instigates the latter against Cassio. So all the people got exit. Only Iago and Rodrigo were left alone on the stage. Okay, see, when Iago and Rodrigo are left alone, the former is Iago, instigates the latter is Rodrigo. Now what does this do? Iago, he instigates Rodrigo against Cassio. See, Cassio was very close to Othello. Okay, so these people have got ill motive in their mind, so they wanted to use Cassio to break the marriage of Desdemona and Othello. He persuades Rodrigo that Desdemona is directly in love with Cassio. Now Iago tells Rodrigo that Desdemona is directly in love with Cassio, and thus sets on Rodrigo to brave Cassio on the watch. And what does he do? He tells Rodrigo to watch Cassio's movement with Desdemona. Then why he's telling this? Because then only Rodrigo will believe in the words of Iago that he's speaking the truth, that Desdemona is in love with Cassio. Iago is sure that Cassio, when provoked, will do some act of violence so that he might be dismissed. Okay, now what Iago is creating a plot in his mind. He's saying that definitely if he'll speak something to Cassio, then what does this statement says about Cassio? That he might be very short-tempered. That is why he gets provoked very easily. Iago is sure that Cassio, when provoked, will do some act of violence so that he might be dismissed. Okay, now once you provoke somebody and that person is short-tempered, okay, then what that person will do? Definitely create a violence. Okay, that is what he's telling, that Iago, let us go and provoke Cassio so that he creates a violence, and as a result he will be dismissed by Othello. Okay, for Iago convinces Rodrigo that in order to enjoy Desdemona, he must remove Cassio first. So Rodrigo, what advice he is giving, convinces Iago, what he convinces to Rodrigo, that if he wants to enjoy Desdemona and he wants to enjoy his company, then the first and the foremost person which he should remove from his path is Cassio, okay, who he insists has reduced her affections. Okay, now Cassio must be close to Desdemona. He's telling that he has reduced her affections. Then what happens? After creating so much of planning and plotting, that Iago and Rodrigo, what is going in their mind to break the marriage of Othello and Desdemona, they are creating a plot to first remove Cassio from their path, then they will succeed in breaking their marriage. After this, then in his soliloquy, Iago works upon his motives in his mind. Now, what is the meaning of the word soliloquy? When a person speaks to himself, it is a human nature. When we all sit alone, we definitely one or the other time, we speak to ourselves, maybe in our heart or maybe in the form of words which comes out from our mouth. Okay, then Iago has a motive in his mind which he speaks in his soliloquy. He repeats his suspicion that Othello had something to do with his wife, and he is determined to be evened with him, wife for wife. Okay, now what Iago is thinking, that this line he has said previously also in Act 1, that Othello got married to Desdemona because he was having some ill motive in his mind. Okay, maybe he wanted to keep his wife as a slave. He wanted to treat his wife as wife, and he is determined to be evened with him, wife for wife. Then by justifying his actions to his own mind, he seeks to invent a motive of treachery to Othello. Now he is telling that in order to free Desdemona from this marriage, he has created he's creating a plan in his mind, which we are coming to know through his soliloquy, that how will he break the marriage of Othello and Desdemona. We'll continue with Act 2, Scene 2 tomorrow. Thank you, children.